Let's start with this, Ani. I want to start with Cam and the Boozers, simply because they are the ones that went out and won Peach Jam. The Night Riders won Peach Jam. So my question to you, and I think this was the conversation that everybody was kind of having in the building over the weekend, right? Is what is his ceiling as a player? He is a guy that's probably 6'8", right?
Mhm.
6'8" in basketball
Yeah.
shoes, maybe 6'9". Um, Physical, great rebounder, not the best athlete you've ever seen, not the greatest shooter you've ever seen. He could do all of that stuff well. He just produces, produces, produces. How do you see that translating as you move up levels?
Yeah, I think he'll still obviously he uses his size advantage as a strength, right? Like where he see, especially inside. Like you said, he can shoot it some. He handles it pretty solid, but it's nothing like really just out there fantastic. What's funny is like I kind of did like an NBA comp, and I loved watching Utah Jazz with Darren Williams and Andre Kirilenko and his dad Carlos Boozer, and I'm like he's like an updated version of Carlos
That's
Boozer,
that's
like
right.
strong body, face up game, shoots it like baby fades. Like now, I think Cam will be able to shoot the three. I think as he continues to go up levels, he'll be able to be a solid spot up shooter and a ball handler, and I think he'll be able to attack and get to the rim some. But he reminds me of his dad, but like the 2024 version of it.
Does
Thousand
that
percent.
work? Does that work in 2024, Jeff? Does that work in the modern NBA?
Well, he reminds me of his dad a lot, and I watch his dad a lot. Duke and obviously in the NBA. But what he's added over the last year is a perimeter shot.
Yeah.
He could shoot the three now, and he doesn't hesitate. Where a year ago, I remember watching him, and he didn't really shoot it much, and when he did, it didn't go in. Uh, Now he's efficient with it. He hasn't fallen in love with it, which I love. But look at here are Carlos Boozer's stats his junior year at Duke. Okay, I'm going to read them to you. And you tell me if you think he can average this his freshman year in college. 18.2 points, 8.7 rebounds. He didn't shoot the three at all, obviously, because he didn't. Not a big shot blocker, just like Cameron. I think those are the numbers you're going to see next year. If he goes to Miami, if he goes to Duke, if he goes to Florida, wherever he is, I could see him averaging 18 and almost 9 a game. And let's face it, in AU, there's nobody more consistent than Cam Boozer. Nobody. Period. The
100%.
kid just wins. In every frigging game, you look up and you're like, that dude basically had 20 and 10.
Yeah, I got a comparison for you, Ani. Tell me what you think about
Okay.
this. I think he is mid to late career Kevin Love, right? Like, I don't know if we're going to see the 26 and 13. Like, Kevin Love had some years where he put up monster numbers, right? I don't know if we're going to see that. But when Kevin kind of changed himself from being the guy that you ran everything through on a team that was fine in the NBA to being a piece alongside a superstar that was competing for championships, averaging 50, was it like 15-9 and shooting 40% from three. Like, I think that long term will be the best case scenario for Cam Boozer. Am I crazy? Can he get there?
You're not crazy, and I definitely think throughout his NBA career, I think he'll become like a high 30s, potentially 40% 3-point shooter. I think there's real upside with the shooting. Like Jeff said, like he makes shots. Like he makes like I've seen him make a lot of open threes. And I think he'll just get better as in due time because like I've heard about his work ethic and it's really, really good. Like he stays in that gym. So I agree with you. I can see that as like long term becoming that high level shooter, like that third piece, like on a contending team. Definitely can see
Like
him
a
on
Chris
that.
Bosh. To me, like a Chris Bosh type. Like
Mhm.
he's different, obviously. Bosh is longer, more athletic, but like that type of role on a team. He's gonna be better than anyone thinks because you know what? He brings it every game. He rebounds, he runs the floor really well. Like really, really well. And again, he's
Well,
not a great athlete.
the rebounding always translates. Like, no matter how, if you go up levels, if you can rebound, you're going to be able to rebound, and that's like his best skill. He's a good post scorer, right? Like, he's got the moves. He can finish around the basket. He's athletic enough. He's a good enough shooter, but he can rebound, and that is always going to make sure that he gets on the floor and he produces. He also wins. Goodman, this one's for you. I'm going to make a case here. The Knight Riders, right? This program won the 15U EYBL. They won the 16U EYBL, beating Cooper Flag in the process. They won the 17U EYBL while adding Caleb Wilson, another top 5, top 10 kind of a player. But they won the 17U EYBL, beating a very, very good takeover team in the process, and also beating AJ DeBonsa, and Tyron Stokes in the championship game. Where do they rank, and do they rank in the conversation for best grassroots teams of all time? Because I think at the bare minimum, they have to be in the conversation.
I mean, there's no question they're up there. Okay. Like, but I will say this. Like, I remember, and this predates you guys, but like 2003, the Gauchos were friggin' awesome. And I'm going to tell you the names, and you're going to be like, like, I don't even remember these dudes. You know, Russell Robinson, who went on to have a pretty good career in college at
Won a
Kansas.
championship at Kansas.
Gaines. Yeah, Sunday out of Gaines. They had guards that were just absolutely the next year, Julian Wright, 2004, Illinois Warriors. He was unbelievable. I mean, there have been some good teams. I mean, the best backcourt I ever saw, guys, was Derrick Rose and Eric Gordon when they teamed up for Mean Streets. I think that was like 2006, maybe
2007.
All right, 2007. I mean, this team, what it's done is unprecedented. I mean, winning 3 straight is insane. Again, on a circuit that is clearly the most dominant, the Nike circuit, and an event that everybody looks forward to playing. You know, you and I, and we'll talk about AJ DeBonsa in a minute, but like, we talked to him, we could sense when you watched that title game, it was, I mean, these guys are playing for something. Like, it means a ton to them to win the Peach Jam, way more than it used to because of the EYBL circuit that's set up.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM Sportsbook. We're going to be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 throughout the year. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use bonus code FIELD, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. The best part, all you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your own hard-earned money to be eligible. Here's how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using that bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure that you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. BetMGM is going to have some fun offers available throughout the NBA playoffs. Bet insurance tokens, odds boost, and what I love, a nice parlay booster too from time to time, as well as a ridiculous array of player prop bets for any sport that you could possibly imagine betting on. BetMGM is and always will be the king of the prop bet. So go download the BetMGM app, use the bonus code FIELD, and sign up today. And while I've got you, a quick request. The best way to support the Field of 68 content that you get for free is to engage with us. Rate and review the podcast. Like and share the YouTube videos. Tell your friends about us. It all helps in a world where the algorithm is king. And now, back to the show. Yep. And all right, so let's get to the recruitment a little bit here, because the feeling I got is that Miami is probably the leader right now. A lot of people think that's where they are generally going to end. And for people wondering why, the twin sons of a Duke legend, I don't know if you can call him a legend, but a very, very good Duke player would end up going to another ACC school. They're both from Miami. They grew up in Miami. They go to high school in Miami. They do everything down in Miami and in Florida, which is why Florida's in the mix as well. But it's also, I guess, the Final Four: Miami, Duke, Florida, Kentucky is what I heard. Don't count UConn out there. I think that they're quietly trying to weasel their way into that recruitment. I don't know if it'll end up working, but we haven't mentioned Cayden yet, Ani. I think Cayden is a terrific point guard. I think he should be in the conversation for the best point guards in this class. I think he has a chance to play in the NBA for a long time as well. Are they a package deal? And is it worth a program like, let's say in Illinois, getting in there and trying to recruit Cayden individually as just a point guard by himself?
Yeah, I definitely don't see them going to separate schools. I feel pretty good about that. So if you're Illinois recruiting separately, I mean, if you just want to do it, sure. But if you actually really trying to get them,
wasting your time,
you're just wasting your time. They're not going to separate schools.
I agree. I'd be shocked. I mean, you can just sense it. Like, and again, they're so different. You know, they're twins, but obviously they're not identical twins. And one's a point guard, one's a big, and they play with each other so well. They know exactly what their strengths and weaknesses are and make life easy. Like, Cayden is so underrated. You know, you were saying it as you're watching him, Rob, and just makes every right play. He's not a great shooter. He's the guy that you're going to need. You know, you're going to need 3 or 4 shooters around him. But again, you put those two in any college program next year, I'll put my money on that college program.
Smart, man. He sees everything happening and knows it's happening 3 seconds before it happens, right? Like he's one of those guys. You talk about it with quarterbacks, right? Like they throw you open. You know what I mean? Like they throw the ball before the break. They know when someone's going to be open before you know you're open. That's what it's like with watching Cayden run the point, like playing transition, make reads and ball screen. He's so good. And he's big. Like I don't think people realize he's like 6'5", right? And he's strong and he knows how to, like, if he gets you on your hip, you're just done. I think he is a fantastic point guard. I think he's in there.
And like you talk,
go ahead, Ani.
And you talk about how smart he is. I think defensively, he's very smart. Like he can read what the opposing teams are going to run, like their plays, and then he guards really well, uses his strength, and moves well. Like I like how he can just initiate offense and make the right play, but I like it defensively that he really can disrupt other teams like point of attack and just kind of what they're trying to get done.
Yeah, that duo is just, they're a lot of fun.
You know what's great about him too?
To play against. Go ahead, Goodman.
Rob, you know what's great about, like I talked to him after the game and they're just all about winning. Like, which is fairly clear when you watch him play, but like
cyborgs.
They kind of remind me of like the Villanova guys, to be honest, right? Like Jalen Brunson, some of those Villanova guys don't have a lot of personality. You're not going to get them to slip up. You try to get them to talk about their recruitment. They're too smart for us. And they don't show any emotion on the court, really. They just go out and do exactly what you tell them to do, right? Like they're going to be coachable as hell. They're going to play hard as hell. They're going to execute whatever you ask them to do. And again, like to me, they're just, Cam's not the most talented guy in the class.
Right.
But man, like for college, I don't know if anybody's going to have a bigger impact than
he'll play in the NBA. I feel very confident saying his size, his passing ability, his pedigree, his IQ, he will play in the NBA and he'll do it for a long time. To me, the question is like, does he do it as a backup point guard level or does he do it as like a starting point guard, potential all-star?
No, you said, hey, go give me the line that you said about him in the NBA potentially.
Oh, so this wasn't for me. I was having a conversation with a coach that was there, right? And we were just sitting and watching the game. And he said, my hot take is that I think that Cayden will be a better NBA player than Cameron Boozer will be. And I would probably bet that it's Boozer just because I think the raw production that he will provide, like he's gonna put up numbers. You just know he is.
Well, yeah, of course it's gonna be Boozer. Yeah. They're both Boozer.
I'm sorry, Cameron. I'm sorry, Cameron, because of the raw production. But I think Cayden,
see what I'm dealing with, Ani? See what I'm dealing with here?
Yes, that was a rough one.
It's all good. It's a long day already.
Yeah, Cayden. I think there's a real chance that Cayden could end up being a better NBA player than Cameron will be. That's just my take.